Hey, what is going on, guys? Back with another ARG ban list discussion video. And for this video, we're actually going to be talking about the concept of a whole of ARG and Konami having separate ban lists. If it's actually good for the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! If it's good on the business and public relations end for ARG, and how it could possibly affect the secondary card market for Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards as well. Now, in the previous video that I actually have on my channel, I actually did a ban list discussion and review video on ARG's ban list, basically talking about the changes they made from the April 1st, 2015 Konami list and what I thought of all those changes. So if you do want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description below to that video if you want to check it out. And I'll also leave a link in the description below to ARG's article about their ban list, so you can check out not only the changes, but also the thought process that they put into the individual changes, and also to creating the ban list as a whole. So on to the discussion subject of ARG and Konami having separate ban lists. Is this good for the game? I personally do not think it is good for the game, especially for our TCG side of the game, for Konami to have one ban list that's valid for all of their events, their regionals, their their YCSs, their nationals, all the events that they do for the TCG for North America, and then ARG to have their own ban list for their specific events, like their ARG Charlotte, the Circuit Series events, and also their 25K that they're doing. I personally just do not like that, because I know the big reason a lot of people actually go to ARGs is to actually play test for the bigger Yu-Gi-Oh! Events like the YCSs and things like that. So having separate ban lists just makes kind of the ARG events not really that valid of a event to actually be able to look at as far as the meta game that's relevant, the one that matters, which is Konami, and also for playtesting for those professional players that want to test out their decks for the bigger Konami events. So I think that's kind of a bad idea there, just having a separate ban list, because then it can cause confusion, especially with newer players that come in. They'll hear all these things about people talking in the community about an ARG list and a Konami list, and they'll just be confused, be like, whoa, wait a minute, like, which list am I going off here? Like, am I going off Konami or ARG? What the hell is ARG, So, it definitely could cause some confusion with some newer players. As I said, I just kind of don't like the idea in general of having separate ban lists, because, I mean, while ARG at the end of the day isn't sanctioned by Konami, I mean, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Events that you are holding, you're still, using a card game that is owned by Konami. So while you do have some extra rights and privileges from not being Konami sanctioned, the whole idea of being able to have cash prizes and better prize support for the events, there's only so far that you really should go with that. You shouldn't be pushing your luck with it, Actually, like, basically changing the rules and changing a ban list for, your own events, that's just really just sticking in Konami's face and just asking for them to come after you. So that's personally why I don't think it's good for the metagame. Now, if we look at ARG, like, as far as if it's good for business for them, if it's good for public relations, I kind of touched on that a little bit with the last topic, but just kind of looking at the reaction I've seen from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community over their release of the ban list last night, looking at Zodiac Duelist, which is a Facebook group of over 20,000 members that's run by YouTuber MCole40, aka Robbie Cole. There was a lot of mixed reactions I saw on there. There was a lot of people in support of it. They liked the changes on the list. They liked the idea of ARG trying to do something fresh, trying to liven up the game and kind of do something different and do that kind of thing. But there's a lot of people that were completely against it, either because they hated the actual changes on the list, because they just hate the idea of having separate lists. Whatever it was, they just were completely against it, and they're pretty much not going to go to any ARG events and not support ARG because of it. And there's not really a lot of people, honestly, on middle ground on it. I mean, I personally see both sides of it and why they feel the way that they do. You could definitely argue that this controversy over the ban list could be good for them, because they're getting a lot of attention for it. It definitely could attract some new players, especially like players who like Heroes and want to play a format where Strauss is at 1, or if somebody likes Insectors and they want to play Hornet at 2, or Wind-Ups with Zen Mighty at 1 and Magician at 2. So, I mean, it definitely could attract some new people, but at the same time, it could kind of drive away some of the the core fans and your core players that have always been playing at ARG, because, as I said, a lot of people go to ARGs to play test for the Konami based events. So Now that you're doing a completely different ban list from Konami, what reason do they really have to go play at these, other than the chance of winning cash prizes? Because at the end of the day, the ARG events aren't going to be nearly as relevant to the meta game and what we could see for how things shape out with the Konami list, or the Konami events. So it's definitely you could go either way on that as far as if it's good for the public relations for ARG. Business wise, it's kind of interesting because ARG has an opportunity now with bringing back some cards like Elemental Hero Stratos and banning some cards like Gym Release or Rituals of Vanny's Emptiness. They could, if they wanted to, kind of have a little bit of control over the card market, so that's kind of segueing into the card market conversation. Because like with Vanny's Emptiness, for example, it's like a $10 card that's limited to one with its secret rare print. They could have easily just sold all their as many of their copies as they could off for like $5 to $10, and then because the fact that it's banned for their ARG specific events, they're doing this ban list for. They could easily just lower the price down to like $2 or $3 or something like that because of the fact that it's banned. Or you could even look at it the other way with Elemental Hero Stratos. Like Stratos is like a couple $1 card or something like that. Because it's banned in Konami, but with it being limited to one for the ARG-based events, they could really spike the price up to like $10 or $20 because of the amount of demand that people will have for wanting to get Elemental Hero Stratos to play at those events. So I think that's something that's personally really unhealthy for the community, the players themselves, because then it just kind of creates, an unwarranted card market where prices spike up for, very bad reason, or spike down basically for one company who's kind of went rogue and are trying to do their own thing with their own ban list, but it has nothing to do with Konami and the competitive game that most other people play. So I definitely think that's a bit unhealthy there, to have a competing card market with two different entities there. So it's just bad for the community in general. It's bad business. I think it's shady. It could even be shady business, depending on how you look at it. As far as Konami's concerned, they definitely do have a right to be upset with ARG for doing this. I know they were very upset years ago when ARG decided to go unsanctioned from them and do their own events with prize support and everything, but this is kind of taking it on another level, as I said. You're just really kind of pushing your luck there now with trying to do your own rules and your own ban list for your own events. So definitely it'll be interesting to see if ARG, or not ARG, but Konami takes some kind of legal action against them, or if they just kind of take a subtle poke at ARG, kind of like ARG did with their list, and they just release the list the next day or something like that, really soon, and then the list is either almost exactly like ARG to where it makes the ARG list almost irrelevant, or they go completely out there and make a completely different list from from ARG just to spark the controversy even more. So really, when it comes to what you think on ARG and Konami having separate ban lists, I mean, as I said, I personally am not a huge fan of it, but I'm also the kind of person that's willing to wait and see what happens, because we don't really know what exactly is going to happen to the card market, what exactly is going to happen to the metagame, to business for Yu-Gi-Oh! Until we actually see some ARG-based events with this ban list and see how it goes. So I definitely will say to my viewers out there, just kind of give it a little bit of time before you create a really strong and defiant opinion on this, because we really don't know a whole lot yet as far as what kind of impact this will have on the game that we all love. So that is it for the discussion video on the ARG ban list, ARG and Konami having separate ban lists. So I do really appreciate you guys watching. Please like the video if you did, and also let me know in the comment section below what you think about what I had to say, and also let me know your thoughts about the ARG ban list and Konami and ARG having separate ban lists in the comment section below. Also, feel free to subscribe as well for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.